Good morning, my dear students. In today's class, in the some general topic, we are going to discuss a few more numericals. That one. So yesterday, I think I had some 8 numericals. So eight more numericals are there. We'll try to finish off them. Let me start the class. Read the question. I'll magnify a little bit. Yeah. Kaushik, it'll opening. Check it once. Maybe internet slow. They get open. Check internet connection. Huh? Okay, we have there's no friction between the plank. There's no friction between the plank and the ground. There's a friction between the block A and the plank, and also between the block B and the plank. Now, force F is applied. So first, what we do is like, we'll assume that there's no slipping. There's no slipping everywhere. Then all will move together. Then we'll calculate the acceleration. Then with that pseudo force, we can check what is the friction acting on both the blocks. If the friction acting is greater than the limiting friction, then slipping will occur. If slipping occurs, then we'll see what has to be done. And if no slipping occurs, what has to be done. So just I brought the idea of collisions into the picture. That's all. Laws of motion already we know. Some idea of collisions is brought here. So first we'll calculate the limiting frictions. Let me set right here. So the limiting friction FAL should be equal to mu A MHE. Mu A will be 0.3 into, this will be 2 into 10. 6 Newton is the limiting friction. Similarly, FBL equal to mu B MB into G. Mu B is 0.1, mass of the block 1 into 10. So this will be 1 Newton. Okay, this will be the 1 Newton. Okay, we are having this. Let's assume that no slipping occurs. I'm writing assume. Let's assume no slipping occurs. Then what is F is equal to 10. Let me write one expression. It will be easier. MA plus MB plus M into G. Sorry, into acceleration E. So what is the applied force? 15 Newton. Mass of the block A, 2 kg. Mass of the block B, 1. Mass of the plank, 10. 15 by 13 meter per second square. Okay, now what we have to do is like take the plank, bring this diagram into the picture. There's a there's a B. We have applied a force. So what are the frictional forces that are acting is here FB, here FA. Sorry. FB. Direction of frictional force should be acting towards right. Then as this plank is accelerating, so they should also have same acceleration. Then who will accelerate the blocks? It should be friction only. Yeah, slipping occurs between plank and BM. Okay, let me check it here now. Okay, this will become FB is equal to MB into A. What is the mass of the block? 1. Okay, this will be 15 by 13. I think definitely FB is greater than FL. FBL. Similarly, so therefore, slipping occurs between block B and plank. Similarly, we'll check FA. FA equal to MA into A. Mass of the block A is 2, acceleration 15 by 13. This will be 10 Newton.
So that is 15 by 13.
15 by 13. I'm missing something. Okay. I think that this will be less than. So no slipping. No slipping occurs. Between block A and plank. Okay, this is a conclusion. Okay, now what we have to do? Now we have to get into the actual problem. I'll go for a small diagram because we have to show the condition. So initially they're separated by 3 meters. A will, no slipping occurs. The block A will move along with the plank, whereas the B water pen will start slipping. Now you change the problem. Okay, here some other force will call F on the plank will be F. I think I forgot to show FA. Let it have like this here. So this will be FA in this one. So this will be the friction force acting on the plank. Then here there'll be relative slipping. FBL, FBL. They will have acceleration. This plank will have acceleration A naught. This will be A naught, whereas this will be AB. There's the initial, this much of condition is what we should have. So at T equals 0, the separation. Now it's just a relative accelerated motion between block A and B is what we have to discuss. What is AB? Acceleration of block with respect to ground. So some very good, many ideas are just brought in one situation here. Now the new acceleration, sir, why can't you take the same acceleration A naught? Okay, fine. Why can't you take, because the earlier the forces acting will be different. No, now FBL will come into the picture. So what is A naught? A naught will be F minus FBL. I think that will become internal. Okay, we'll do one thing. This A naught will become F minus FBL by M plus MA only. This force acting, this will become internal force. The frictional force acting between the block A and the plank will become internal to the block A and the plank. So therefore, what is the net external force acting on the block A and plank will be FBL and applied force. These two will be the net external force acting on system. This will become internal to block A and plank. Hope everyone is able to understand here now. So we know all the values. 15. FBL value we have calculated earlier 1. This will be 10. MA is 2. 14 by 12, 7 by 6. This is A naught. What about how to calculate AB? AB will be AB will become FBL by MB. FBL is how much? FBL, where is FBL? 1. MB is how much? Again 1. Okay, now we got this. What to do after this? I'll write it here. Six seconds. Okay, yeah, fine. I don't have answer. Let me, in the end, I'll conclude it. What is after this? I think it's a relative excited motion. No? The time after which A will go and meet the B. So then what I do is like a SAB final minus SAB initial equal to UAB T plus AAB T square by 2. Hope everyone is able to remember the method. Relative excited. Both are initially from rest. No, they're initially at rest. So that initial velocity will become 0. What is SAB final? This will be 0. SA, I can take anything as reference. I take this as origin. 0. This will be plus 3. This is 0. Because both are at rest. Then acceleration of A. Acceleration of A is A0, 7 by 6, positive. That of B is how much? It is 1, positive. T square by 2. Solve for T, you'll get the required answer. 6 seconds. Yeah.
Yes.
Simply you see that this is what you can expect in a exam, sir. Some collision is telling. Okay, just will go and collide. That's all. After collision, what will happen? If they give any quotient of restitution between block A and B, you can further discuss the problem.
Sir, once again, can you explain A0?
Net force acting on the system is what? Like F minus FBL by MA plus MB, no? Because this will become internal to the block and plank. Huh? I'm testing your memory with this. I read question. I just brought this question so that you'll get habituate of reading. Very simple, but if you read it, it'll be very easy. Okay, no, this is what like a use formula of refrigerator. What is the basic formula for refrigerator? The coefficient of performance, that is beta, coefficient of performance. So that should be equal to TL by TH minus TL. What is the coefficient of performance? How you define? Heat extracted by the work done. How much of it is extracted from the cold body? For that, what is the amount of work has to be done? So this is TL by TH minus TL. So this dQ by dt equal to dW by dt. dW is the work done. Okay, this is what is asking. dW by dt is what I'll call power. We'll supply that power, some heat pump. Let's not bother the mechanism. Nothing to do. Actually, the question is very simple. This one. Okay, now this is one option. Okay, this is our answer. But maybe is telling. Because of maybe word. So even you can pick up this, pick up this, pick up this. But it cannot be this one. Huh? Why maybe? Because due to some external parameters, due to friction or so many other losses, it can be less than, no? 3/4 is less than P, P/2 less than P, but it cannot be more than 3p by 2. I think the word dangerously brought maybe here. If maybe were not there, I would have picked up option C. There's a quotient of performance. See, we have to be ready with what first, the theory and all the formulas. Let me take the next one. Each one by one option you can. So what is the expression for current in individual branches? We will see. Okay. So I'll wait. Okay, this is the, so what is the expression for current I1? This should be equal to E by R1, 1 minus e to power of t, R1 by L. Then I put t equal to infinity, it will be maximum. What is I1 max or I1 not? I'll write it. This should be equal to E by R1, 50 by 25, 2 ampere. What about similarly current to the capacitor? It should be decreasing exponentially. So this will be E, this is the E by R2, e to power of minus t by lambda. Lambda is RC here. So what is the maximum current? I2 naught should be equal to 50 by 5000, 0.01 ampere. I think the ratio of maximum current is the branch of inductor to branch of capacitor. I think that they taking ratio of these two. Ratio of maximum current in the branch of inductor to the branch of capacitor. I naught, the first option is 200. Okay, there's the option A. Option B, at T equal to the current in the branch of capacitor is 200 times the current in the branch of inductor. I think it's all about you directly come for the time 1 by 8. Directly come for this one. Substitute T equal to log 2 by 8. You know R1, Rn value 3.14, 3.125 is there. So substitute here, get expression for current. Substitute here, get expression for current. The current in branch of capacitor is 200 times the current in branch of inductor. T equal to log 2 by 8. I1 by I2. Branch of capacitor. Okay, I2 by I1. I2 by I1. This will be R2 by R1. Sorry, R1 by R2. E to power of minus TR2C by we have to substitute R2C, then T value. Okay, this is R1, R2. Then we have to verify. ACD will come. Option D, the potential drop across the inductor is 4 times the potential drop across capacitor. potential drop across the inductor will become L di by dt. Differentiating this, okay, we'll do one thing. Potential across the inductor. First, we'll go for L. Okay, so I think it's a pure calculation base. Nothing is there. This will become E R1 will be only equal to E. There's a potential drop across the inductor. Similarly, potential drop across capacitor. We need a charge. Huh? Okay, directly we can write it E into minus T by R2C. Inductor. So the ratio of this is asking VL by VC. The E will get eliminated. E minus T R1 by L. Solving this, we have to verify. It's all about calculations. Is it option C is coming? Yeah, I'll pick up this. The potential drop inductor is maximum at T equals 0. I think that's correct, no? Because at T equals 0, inductor will behave like a short open circuit. Capacitor will behave like a short circuit. I'll write C and L. So therefore, this drop will be maximum. You see it is maximum. Across capacitor, when is maximum? This is at T equals 0. At T equal to infinity, inductor will be open circuit. So this is at T equal to infinity. So now this will be maximum. The simple idea, I think anybody knows that this one you can manage very easily. Just basic formulas, what you know, you should apply that in proper order. Okay, options, I think Manideep has given A, C, D. I'll go for it. Huh? Even calculation based also, they are asking. So I think we should be very careful. You check the RC/RL circuit in the advanced paper. Almost there are some 7 questions are there where lengthy calculations are there of this kind. Okay, first of all, I think it's a pure diagram based, I feel. Anybody draws diagram, little bit, okay, you can manage this question. So initially, the string is here. This is 2M. This can only rotate the disk wrapped on a cylindrical shell. Okay, this is that shell. It can only rotate about an axis passing through O. Just let me attend the call. So it will fall freely. This distance is 2r. I think a little bit we have to be alert. 2r. So what is the length of the string? So here finally, I'll bring it here. I think this is very important. If you can get this 2r and 2r and this is r, no? So altogether, how much of length of the string should come here? 5r.
Sir, in the diagram, it is above the center, no? 2m.
Yeah, correct. No,
Means it will be 6r.
no, this r will remain as it is here. No, this r will not. So from here, what happened? This is 2r, this 2r and this r I'll add it.
Yes, sir. I'm saying about that rest of last part, last r only. That is 2r, no? Because it's above the center.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Top of it.
Okay, top of it. Okay. I'll change the diagram. Yeah, thank you. Not visible for me. Then okay, things will change. 2r, 6r it will come. Okay, yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. I'll magnify it. Okay, now it's visible. Okay, then it will just fall of height. How much of height it will fall? So 2r and this is 2r and 2r. So altogether 8r it will fall. So here, what is the state of it? It will be moving with the velocity here, v. Then it will, and impulse j is set up. This impulse, what will do? It will produce an angular velocity. Immediately like this? No, actually here it will have velocity u. Now impulse will act. Due to impulse, now the system will acquire. I think the problem you have to break up into 3 parts here. Now suddenly the string will become taut very next moment. So because of that, an impulse will act, and due to that impulse, it will acquire v, and this is omega. First of all, we'll calculate u. So what is u is equal to? 8gr it will fall. So mu square 2mu square by 2 should be equal to 2mg 8r. U equal to 4 root gr. This is the speed with which it will have. Now the impulse will act. How the impulse momentum equation? J minus mu, sorry, mu minus j equal to mv. From where this equation is brought? Impulse momentum equation. Initial momentum is mu. Impulse j will act. Because of that, why? Because the string will be jerked here. The impulse j will act here. So mu 2m. I'll make changes. I'll forget again and again. Yeah. Then that impulse also will act for a while on this particular cylindrical shell. So it will set up an angular impulse j into r. The cylindrical shell. So shell it is. So m r square by 2 into omega. Any relation between omega and v? I think from constraint equation, what is the velocity? Vp1 should be equal to r omega, and Vp1 should be equal to v. Any reason? Because string is inextensible. So therefore, what we can write? V equal to r omega. So this will become j equal to m r by 2. R omega is there. We can write it as v. This value of j I'll substitute there. So 2mu mv by 2 equal to 2mv. Cylindrical shell. Okay, yeah, fine. J equal to mv. 2mu equal to 3mv. So v equal to 2u by 3. The angular velocity of cylinder just after string is taut. What is u? U equal to root 4 gr. Let's substitute further. root of 8 gr, 8 by 3 gr. Okay, this is the linear velocity of particle, angular velocity. You can adjust all the things. A few questions I'll ask you here. Why can't we directly write from year to year? You calculate energy in the system now and calculate energy in the system now. Will it be same or will it decreases? This is very important. Definitely some, if I can remove one of your options, I'll test you those things. Just before jerk, what is energy of system? 2m by 2 u square by u square. After jerk, you calculate the energy, it will be less. Where do that energy gone? Lost as heat in this inextensible string. I'll give the length, you know length. I'll give the specific heat. I'll ask you to find the rise in temperature. So what is the rise in temperature of string? Please try to mix up so many ideas here. Temperature in rise of string is equal to how much it is? Mass of the string. Okay, delta m will be very small, no, negligible. Specific heat into delta theta. Sorry, this is a rise in temperature, delta theta. Delta theta will take. So Q equal to delta M S into delta. What is Q? Totally generated. How to calculate Q? Q should be equal to 2M by 2 U square minus 2M by 2 V square plus moment of inertia, mr square by 2 omega square. The difference of that is what? The heat. From that, I'll get the rise in temperature. See, so in exam, this is what happens in advance. All of a sudden, now calorimetry brought into the picture. So delta M you are taking and you are not considering here. Delta M very small. So we can neglect during the calculation of the like a initial part. Later on, I'll bring into picture. S means here specific heat of string. Randomly, you only see, rather than fighting with question somewhere, no, you only try to add some other ideas. You know now many concepts. Just, okay, well, can it be like this? Can it be like this? Can it be like this? This was the needed at this particular stage. So don't fight with only if they ask in a question, okay, I'll think it. No, you only better analyze.
Sir, what is S, sir, here?
Specific heat of string. Specific
Okay.
heat.
Okay.
I'll expand it. Specific heat of material of string. I'm still like a definitely more than one options whenever you get a question, no, so many different things will be mixed up or in passages. But everything you have to do this within 3 minutes. I think this is the most the very, you can say, the difficulty in advanced exam, because I asked almost every student every year. Initially they'll go to exam as if that very tough question they'll ask. When they go to the exam, after exam, when I interact with them, sir, all questions I was able to do, but I could not think in a given time. I think this parameter, so then, sir, what is the remedy for this? The remedy for this is like, you must practice the question papers, which are the level of advance. I think that is a little bit difficult. I suggest students like time-bound questions you pick up. Any question takes half an hour, 20 minutes. Definitely they are out of syllabus. Learning concept, okay, not useful. You have to train up for this short thinking. I think this is the thing where the most of students will lag preparation. Because you feel like tough questions, if you solve, okay, you can manage. No, either you solve tough or easy. It's all about the 3 minutes. Are you able to think? So please do develop that skill. At least now you are in a better position. You can understand everything. it'll be difficult to do in 3 minutes. It's difficult. It's easy to solve the same question in 10 minutes. I think everyone is able to understand what I'm saying here now. L by 9 length immersed in the Now I'll bring it again. Not permitting. I'll briefly explain, then I'll go for it. Okay, the center of mass of the rod you can find using this particular formula, XCM equal to XDM by DM. Then substituting the lambda with the given equation lambda naught 1 plus XL and integrating 0 to L, we'll get the center of mass of the rod OA. That is equal to 5L by 9. This is applicable for rod OA and OB. Okay, then mass of the rod, you can find out using this formula. Lambda into dx, why 2? Because both the parts are there. Then after this, for equilibrium, okay, these are the forces, the weight of the rod OA and OB will act certain point, not at midpoint, should be somewhere away. Okay, no, we know that XCM value. Then applying the torque equation, F into, this is L. So L cos theta, this will be FL cos theta clockwise. The weight mg, this will be XCM sin theta. This distance mg into XCM sin theta will be torque. This also will be clockwise. Mg into XCM sin theta. This will be counterclockwise. Then torque due to buoyant force, L minus L by A sin theta. Center of buoyancy is the midpoint of the volume immersed of the rod. Center of gravity will be away from it. Okay, solving this, we'll get the required options. I'll go for next one. Again, we have less time. Better not to stop recording every day. Hope you are able to read now. It's really testing with more forces, more than 2 forces he has applied. F1 and F2 is a uniform solid sphere. If there's this one, then he's asking. So what do you suggest? Will you work out each and every option or will you bring a generalized one? I think better to bring the generalized one. F1 passes through center of mass and F2 acts on the topmost point. I think better get expression for acceleration and angular acceleration and friction in terms of moment of inertia. There, substitute moment of inertia, you're going to get the different answers. Then you can check it all. But he has made certain rule also. You see, like option 3, F1 equal to 0, he has brought it. F1 equal to F2 equal to F. Yes, 0 also. I think we can't just go for generalization. Or if you can bring generalization, then again, there go and check with individual values. If F1 equal to F2, then what will happen? I think the first you have to make a strategy to do this problem. What strategy you're going to apply? Individual options, will you check it or go for generalization? I think there's a decision a student has to take. Even for me also now applicable. Let me go for generalization because at least I can save time. Because I'll take a risk, nothing, no problem. Let me take a risk. One of the force is acting at F2. The other force is acting, which is passing through center of mass. Then how the friction all will act, anything can we say about? It's a generalized one. Rigid body, moment of inertia about A will consider like this. Now, first of all, if you apply force at highest point, this F2 is nothing but I can bring it here also. If you're getting confusion, you assume that only force F1 is acting, friction will act backward. Then if you apply force here, the friction will be forward, and something is telling F1, F2. So I'll take a risk of assuming direction of friction backward. There are only two choices for us. Friction should be forward or backward here. If I assume it backward, no problem, because there no slipping will occur. No slipping will occur. Object will roll on. Object will roll on. Object will roll without sliding. Okay, that also we should verify. Friction shall I assume backward or forward? I think there's the one biggest headache what we have.
Forward.
It is a smooth surface.
Kept on a horizontal surface, two forces pass through center of mass, acts on smooth horizontal surface. So there no friction is needed. The problem has become a little bit very simple. Okay, let it have acceleration. See, the reading of question is very important. Okay, let's write the equations of motion. A equal to mass of this is m, not visible. Yeah, acceleration is equal to F1 plus F2 by m. F2r equal to this is moment of inertia. Let's write O. Manideep, are you looking at this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. F2 into R. F2 into R should be equal to moment of inertia. I see. I think. Okay, I'll make it IC. It is IC into alpha C, or just only alpha. Let it write. If F1 equal to F2. Okay, I think we have only this much of. I think we are in some little bit better position. Let's check first, like this equation. So first, like for the uniform solid sphere, 2/5 mr square, then you have to check F1 equal to F2, then you see what conditions will arise. First, we'll directly go for alpha. So this expression for alpha will be F2R by IC. In all the cases, F2 is that one only. Only moment of inertia is going to change, and that one. I think now I'll do one thing. I'll bring first one solid sphere, solid cylinder. Next spherical shell, then cylindrical shell. For different cases of the forces, I will check it. I think I'll bring the. So first one, F1 equal to F2. What is alpha? We'll check it. Let's say if I know alpha, then there's nothing is there. F1 equal to, immediately I'll get the acceleration. There's no problem. So here you can make a tabular column. Okay, there's a force F1 equal to F2, a tabular column for acceleration, and this is for alpha. A and alpha. Not interested? No, sir, I'll not draw the tabular column, your wish. So just for me, it's a little bit easy to explain. I'm going for it. Let me do like this. Really, it's not about like what concept. In less time, how you solve this is if F1 equal to F2, this will become 2F by M. Write it 2F by M. Then what is alpha? Moment of inertia, solid sphere, 2 by 5 mr square, and F2 equal to F. Two by 5, so 5F by 2 mr. Check it now. Put R alpha, compare R alpha with A. I think A is less than R alpha.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, A is less than R alpha. So now for one, this will match it. Like this is what we have to trace it out here. I think really it's a very challenging one. Solving in some, I think we can go for around 6 minutes. Very dangerous one. Questions will be very easy, but the data has to be segregated properly. Yeah, so one thing, I don't have place. So for this, I have got it like 1. This is matching and Q. Model like this, very troublesome. So what you have to do, you have to save time from some other questions and come and bring it here. Like this, I think once you fill up this column, then we can manage here for solid cylinder. Okay, anyway, this is for all the cases 2F by M, no? It is. There's no problem with the alpha. Okay, now I think you have certain moment of inertia mr square. Okay, this will be solid cylinder, will be mr square by 2 only. Mr square by 2, I think will be 2F by M. Both will be equal. ACM equal to R alpha. Anywhere is there? Object will roll without slipping. P will come. Okay, this will be 2, 1, P. Next, spherical shell 2 by 3. So 3F by 2M. R will be there. 3F by 2MR. So ACM will become, ACM will be greater than R alpha. ACM greater than R alpha, but it will be less than 2 alpha. R will come. Okay, this will be 1 R. A cylindrical shell mr square, only just mr square will be F by mr, will be F by mr. So ACM will become greater than R alpha. Okay, this will come 1 is. Okay, this is like this. You have to verify now the other thing. F1 equal to 2F1 equal to 2F. F2 equal to F1 equal to 2F. F1 equal to 0. Okay, making data, I think this is really, so I think the acceleration will be very easy to calculate. This alpha is what for different bodies will be different, but for all the bodies, the acceleration will be same. Am I right? I think there's no fun in writing this acceleration again. Like you can save time. Only better writing this particular thing. So R alpha, better write it directly for R alpha, so that it will be easy for you to compare. Okay, actually I solved this, really troubled me a lot. Okay, this ACM, I'll remove it. Okay, now let's see that F2 equal to F1 equal to 2F. The value of R alpha is 5F by M. Four F by M, 3F by M, 2F by M. Now, what about acceleration for all? 3F by M, acceleration should be
3F by M.
3F by M. So you will write acceleration here so that we can save time, no, instead of writing many times. That's in exam, I think so. All things matters. Huh? Actually, I wrote for all, for everyone, not needed. Okay, now last one, F1 0. Acceleration is F by M. Okay, R alpha will be 5F by 2M. This will be 2F by, even R alpha also you are writing many times, better write R alpha somewhere here. R alpha, only R alphas for different thing. You can save time by writing many times R alpha. Okay, are you noticing? I think in exam, so many parameters matters. How you manage what to write, what not to write. Okay, I'm just filling up the columns. F1 equal to 3F2 by 2, 3F by 2. Acceleration should be equal to 5F by 2M. R alpha will be 5F by 2M. R alpha will be 2F by M. R alpha will be 3F by 2M. I think you have to, this will be 2F by M. Now we have a data. Now we can compare. Troublesome problem, very troublesome problem. B will come. Check this, D will come, and this A will come. Okay, please, all of you. I think nowadays these are very popular. The matching solve, really headache one, rather than difficulty. How you save time in solving that questions. Please be careful. So try to work out some numericals of these kind also. Questions are easy, but see, like it will take easily 10 to 12 minutes here. So how you save time, where you are going to save time, that you have to plan. I'll end up the class. Okay, thank you all of you.